We have another visitor that's going to talk to us. Phil Ostreicher back here. Phil Ostreicher put the first flight on the F-16. He's going to tell us about that, and then there's one little engineering thing he did that I think is real neat. Concerns the plastic model. I thought this was one of the coolest stories I ever heard. I'm going to let him tell you about it. But the first time I saw Phil, it was at Pyramid Acres, and that's back when there were no houses out there. By the way, we have as our guest also the Plainsman RC. You guys put your hands up. We got 3 or 4 here. They normally meet the same day we do, and I said, well, Phil, then bring the whole group, just come up, and that way you can talk to us. So Phil is here to talk to us a little bit. I met Phil out there. There were no houses around, and there was hardly any mesquite trees. They flew a lot of real free flights out there then. And Phil was flying this thing that had the cockpit on the bottom, and it had a wing in the front and had a wing in the back. It was a tandem wing bottom cockpit rubber model that was designed to, I think, beat the rules for a club contest or something. But that was the first time I saw Phil, and it was flying very nicely, as a matter of fact. And he flies all sorts of models. Did you bring the little one in?
No, it's out.
Well, we'll bring it in a minute. Phil started with little models, and he just started building the same model that he built was the first model he built, and he's going to bring it in a minute. We'll take a look at it. But Phil's going to tell us those 2 stories about the little engineering trick he did with a model, and about the first flight on the F-16. You want to come up here? Yep. All right, here we go. Real test pilot.
Okay, how many people remember the General Dynamics RB-57F?
I remember.
Very long wing B-57 model. Okay, I was an aerodynamics engineer working in, well, B-58 projects and various mods of the B-58 and that sort of thing. And one day, Herb Rogers, who at that time was director of preliminary design, came in and Friday afternoon said, come to my office Monday morning. I have no idea what it's about. So I do that, and he tells me that the Air Force has given GD a contract to design, build a dozen sort of U-2 backups, a very high altitude mod to the B-57. Okay. So I said, well, who's going to be working with me? Well, you're the designer. There will be 2 structural weight estimators and a performance guy to put the whole thing together. And that's it. And we've got a little locked room. It's supposed to be hush-hush and all that. This, by the way, is 1962. So, and I think this little story is appropriate to your group, because when it was all over with, I thought, gee, this is just like designing an airplane in your garage. I said, well, I got to have some basic info on a B-57. You know, I got the rules. Keep as much of the fuselage as you can, except forward of the instrument panel. That we've designed that already. You'll never know what goes in there. But here's the weight and CG of that chunk of the airplane. Obviously some kind of secret sensors or whatever. And rules, any engines you want, keep the landing gear if you can, keep as much of the tail as you can, that's it. So I've got to have some kind of a basic drawing of a B-57 to start with. A B model, by the way, is what the Air Force is donating for these mods. So somebody digs up, the Air Force gave us an erection and maintenance manual. It's got a very crude plan view drawing of the wing, a side elevation of the fuselage, all the different scales, and no scale given. So I finally decided, oh, this is crazy. So I hopped on my Vespa, that was my second car at the time, went down to Tolson's and bought a Revell B-57B kit. brought it back, took a nice sharp 6/8 pencil, went around the molded half fuselage, and developed basically a 3D drawing. It turned out it was extremely accurate later on. I mean, it was, I don't know.
Kids this day don't understand lofting, do they?
Well, we just didn't have anything to start with, but Revell did an incredible job of duplicating that airplane. So anyway, we developed our wedded area stuff from that. And so anyway, the deal was I would come up with a configuration and come up with a lift drag holder on the thing and so forth. And then the estimators would tell us how much it weighed, and the performance guy would put all this together. By the way, engine selection took 5 minutes. I'm not deadly serious on this. It was 4 minutes to find the Aviation Week annual directory of manufacturers and 1 minute to find the biggest turbofan made in the USA. TF33, that's what was in it. That's all there was to engine selection. True as I'm standing here right now, that was it.
There you go. See, the model airplanes and the big ones do go together.
I mean,
use a plastic kit.
You know, it kind of conjures up images of what was it, Rudolf Klotz drawing with chalk on the Fokker hangar floor. It was almost almost like that. Anyway, we very quickly, well, quickly, a couple of weeks, honed in on about the kind of wing area you needed. Oh, by the way, the Air Force's only directions were make it go high. I asked, well, what range do you... Never mind, if it goes high enough, it'll go far enough. Well, obviously, you need a lot of wing area. It turned out that if you plotted altitude against wing area, the curve kind of went over like that. More wing area, the higher the altitude, but how much can you stabilize with the original horizontal tail? And that's where we cut it off at 2,000. By the way, the original airplane was 969, so we more than doubled the wing area. And the design went rather quickly. It flew 13 months from the start, and the Air Force liked it enough that they bought another nearly dozen of them. So all in all, I think it was 22 airplanes.
You kind of kept them in business then. That was in between projects.
It was between the B-58 and the F-111. And it kept 400 people so busy in the shop. And I don't know, just...
Did you pay Lindbergh anything on that? Since
No.
Oh, okay.
At any rate, to me, it was the best engineering job I ever had. I really enjoyed it. And I can't find that model. I don't know if it's still around or not.
Oh, gee, that'd be cool to have.
Well, I bought it with my own money, so I kept it.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
They didn't turn it over to at any rate, that sometimes you get these, especially a mod job, you get some, you know, pretty short-handed data to play with, and you just go with what you can get, make the best guess, and probably like you folks do with your home builds, you know, there isn't something in a book or in Wikipedia that says do this, and so you just make a guess and go. Anyway, that was the B-57F story.
Carbon cut. It's a beautiful airplane.
You can have the best pair of headsets available, and you're still going to
Today. So all know something.
I had put it under here for the
I'd like to stand right here, but there's somebody standing there.
fiber in it. It was like you advertised. Or a carbon
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah.
Is it a carbon copy or carbon?
This is a special light one. Yeah. This is actually light two.
The FAA has no problem with that. But they're so they both were 800 to get to the.
You said that this aircraft is about $40 million? Yeah. Wow. What makes it so expensive? The avionics, the carbon, everything is carbon.
Is that a GoPro?
Yeah.
Do you mount it up on the aircraft and fly it?
Mhm.
There was a time, I couldn't tell you about
Yeah, take a picture of me. Please. Let me put all that.
Is that the radar?
That's the weather radar. It's not the radar for the airport. That's the weather. You gotta make it like a mixed phone.
This gives you the best shot because the sun's behind you this way.